Please, I didn't do anything wrong. Please! The human boy's terrified screams echoed through the Galactic Council chamber. Tears streamed down his face as the alien guards forced him to his knees. Counselor Xanth raised his scaled hand, silencing the chamber. For the crime of defiling our sacred shrine, this human child shall serve as an example. The executioner raised his disruptor, the weapon's barrel glowing with deadly energy. No. The boy's final cry was cut short as his blood splattered across the pristine council floor. Xanth's lips curled into a cruel smile. Let this be a lesson to your primitive species. Humanity's disobedience will no longer be tolerated. The transmission cut to static, but the child's final scream continued to echo across the stars. Captain Logan Carter stood on the bridge of the HSS Indomitable orbiting Earth, jaw clenched as the feed ended. His voice emerged as a whisper. They killed a child. Commander Hawkins gripped the rail beside him, knuckles white. What are your orders, sir? A cold determination filled Logan's eyes. Signal the fleet. Power up the Nova cannons. Plot an FTL jump straight to the Galactic Council's headquarters. This was the moment humanity had secretly prepared for. The day the aliens would reveal their true nature and cross a line they could never return from. The day Earth would unleash its most devastating weapons, warships that had remained hidden for centuries, waiting for this precise moment of betrayal. Deep within the Rocky Mountains, massive stone doors parted, revealing a cavernous underground hangar. Captain Logan strode through flickering lights, boot heels clicking on cement as he approached a towering blast door. His palm pressed against a scanner and the door ground open. Floodlights snapped on, illuminating rows of warships unlike anything seen before. Angular, predatory vessels with hulls of iridescent metal that seemed to drink in the light. The Sigma fleet. I thought it was just a myth, whispered Commander Hawkins, reaching out to touch the nearest vessel. The Council confined us to our home system, Logan said, straightening his uniform. They had no idea of the ace up our sleeve. Technology centuries beyond their understanding. While the Council believed they had caged humanity, Earth's greatest minds had been working tirelessly, developing weapons and defenses that would make the alien forces tremble. The fleet launched, their drives lighting up Earth's orbit like newborn stars before they vanished into faster-than-light travel, bound for the heart of Council space. Light years away, Counselor Xanth lounged in his quarters, savoring a glowing green drink, the very picture of arrogance. An alert chimed, and his aide's terrified face appeared on screen. Counselor, unknown vessels have entered our system. They've destroyed our patrol ships before we could even identify them. Xanth lurched to his feet, spilling his drink as he activated the tactical display. A swarm of red markers approached the Aoran homeworld. By the gods, there are hundreds of them. How could an unknown race have a fleet this size without our knowledge? The icy fingers of dread clutched at his heart as the invader's identity became clear. The symbol of the Terran Dominion adorned their hulls. Humanity had returned, not as explorers or diplomats, but as warriors armed with vengeance and technology beyond the Aoran's nightmares. The Sigma fleet carved through the system's defenses like a blade through silk. Their hulls absorbed energy, weapons, their shields deflecting missiles. The angular human ships moved with impossible precision, executing maneuvers that should have torn them apart. On the Indomitable's bridge, Logan watched the one-sided battle with grim satisfaction. "Target their command vessels," he ordered. "Let's decapitate their defense." The human fighters swarmed through the void, nimble and deadly. Aoran ships exploded in silent blooms of fire as they were overwhelmed by Earth's technological superiority. Years of condescension and oppression were being answered with overwhelming force. When Xanth's flagship was isolated, Logan opened a direct channel. "You made a grave mistake, Counselor," he said, his voice cold as space itself. "The execution of that child was your final error." Xanth's bulging eyes reflected his terror. "What do you want, human?" "Justice," Logan replied. "The Council will rescind its ban on human FTL travel, effective immediately. You will acknowledge our right to expand and explore. Any further aggression against humanity will be met with swift and devastating retaliation." The Aoran's nostrils flared, pride warring with fear. "The Council will never agree. You're just one species. You can't dictate terms to the entire galaxy." Logan nodded to his tactical officer, who split the screen to show the destruction of Aoran ships, their hulls sliced apart by weapons they couldn't comprehend. "I won't ask again, Counselor. Yield, and let this be the end of it." Xanth terminated the transmission, slumping in his chair as his fleet surrendered one by one, powering down weapons and drives. A cheer erupted from the human crew, but Logan remained stoic. This was just the beginning. The Council would not forgive this humiliation easily. The Sigma fleet's victory spread through the galaxy like wildfire. Species long oppressed by the Council watched with hope and fear as humanity shattered the established order. But the Council was vast, with resources spanning thousands of worlds. 3 days after their initial victory, the Indomitable's sensors detected a massive energy signature approaching from deep space. "Captain, we have multiple contacts," reported Lieutenant Chen, her face pale. "It's the combined Council armada. Over 3,000 ships from 17 species." Logan studied the tactical display, his expression grim. They were outnumbered, 10 to 1. Even with their technological edge, the Sigma fleet couldn't withstand such overwhelming force. "They've brought everything they have," said Hawkins, voice tight. "Every capital ship, every carrier." A transmission cut through the tense silence. Grand Admiral Zor, Supreme Commander of the Council forces, appeared on screen, his chitinous face impassive. "Captain Carter, your rebellion ends here. Surrender your fleet and return to Earth's orbit, or we will reduce your world to molten rock." Logan's hands clenched into fists. "You would destroy an entire planet? Billions of innocent lives, as you destroyed our credibility," Zor replied coldly. "The Council must remain supreme, or the galaxy falls to chaos. You have 6 hours to comply." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. "Options?" Logan asked, looking around at his officers. "We can't defeat them in direct combat," Hawkins said. "Even with our superior technology, their numbers are too great." Logan paced the bridge, mind racing. "Then we change the rules of engagement. Contact the Voran resistance in the Corax Nebula. They've been fighting Council oppression for decades. And prepare a strike team. We're going to infiltrate Admiral Zor's flagship." "Sir, that's suicide," protested Commander Rivera. "Their security will be impenetrable." "Not for a stealth ship using our phase shift technology," Logan countered. "While the main fleet engages their front line, we'll strike at their heart." As preparations began, an alarm blared. Lieutenant Chen's voice rang out in horror. "Captain, they're targeting Earth directly. Multiple Council dreadnoughts have broken formation and are accelerating toward the Sol system." Logan's blood turned to ice. The Council wasn't waiting for their ultimatum to expire. They were moving to eliminate humanity's homeworld now, while the Sigma fleet was deployed elsewhere. "All ships, maximum speed to intercept," Logan commanded. But even as the words left his mouth, he knew they couldn't reach Earth in time. The Council forces would arrive hours before them. Humanity's moment of triumph had transformed into its darkest hour. The price of defiance would be Earth itself. "Send the activation code," Logan ordered, his voice steady despite the desperation clawing at his chest. "Wake the Guardians." Commander Hawkins exchanged glances with the other officers. "Sir, the Guardians are untested. We don't know if they'll respond after all this time." "We're out of options," Logan said, eyes fixed on the tactical display showing Council dreadnoughts approaching Earth. "It's time to unveil our final defense." Deep beneath Earth's oceans, ancient machines stirred to life. Buried in the Mariana Trench centuries ago, 7 colossal sentinels, each the size of a small moon, rose from their watery slumber, water cascading from their monolithic forms as they ascended toward orbit. The Council fleet detected the massive energy signatures too late. Admiral Zor watched in disbelief as the behemoths emerged. "What are those?" he demanded. His science officer could only shake her head, instruments overloading from the readings. "Unknown, Admiral. They appear to be artificial planetoids." The Guardians formed a defensive sphere around Earth, their surfaces opening to reveal weapon systems that dwarfed anything the Council had ever deployed. When the first dreadnought came within range, a Guardian unleashed a blinding beam that cut the alien vessel in half as if it were made of paper. "All ships, evasive maneuvers," Zor commanded, but it was too late. The Guardians moved with impossible grace for their size, intercepting and destroying Council ships with methodical precision. Their shield technology absorbed everything the aliens fired at them, growing stronger with each attack as they adapted. Meanwhile, the Sigma fleet executed a daring maneuver, using the chaos of the battle to slip behind the Council Armada's lines. Logan led a strike team aboard a stealth craft, its phase shift technology rendering them invisible to sensors as they approached Admiral Zor's flagship. "Remember," Logan told his team as they prepared to board, "we need Zor alive. His authority is the only thing that can call off this attack." They breached the hull silently, dispatching guards with non-lethal tactics as they fought their way to the bridge. When they finally burst through the command deck doors, Logan found Admiral Zor, standing calmly as if expecting them. "You've lost, Admiral," Logan said, training his weapon on the alien commander. "Your attack on Earth has failed, and your fleet is being decimated." Zor's compound eyes regarded Logan with cold calculation. "Perhaps this battle, Captain, but not the war. The Council spans 1,000 worlds. We will rebuild." "Not under your leadership," Logan replied. "Order your remaining ships to stand down or watch as the Guardians tear them apart one by one." A tense silence stretched between them, broken only by distant explosions as the battle raged outside. Finally, Zor moved to the communications array. "All Council vessels, cease fire and power down weapons. I repeat, cease fire." As the order spread through the fleet, the relentless assault on Earth halted. Ships began to retreat, jumping to FTL to escape the Guardians' wrath. Logan didn't lower his weapon. "Now, Admiral, we're going to have a long conversation about the future of galactic relations." 1 month later, Captain Logan Carter stood before the newly formed Galactic Assembly, not as a military commander, but as Earth's representative. The Council's monopoly on interstellar governance had been broken, replaced by an alliance of equals. The execution of one human child led to the fall of an empire. Logan addressed the gathered representatives. "Let that serve as a reminder of the consequences of tyranny." Councillor Xanth sat among the delegates, his once proud posture now humbled. The Iorans had survived, but their dominance was finished. Earth had revealed not only the Sigma fleet, but the Guardians and other technologies that had remained hidden for centuries. "Humanity doesn't seek vengeance or domination," Logan continued. "We desire cooperation and mutual respect. But make no mistake, we will never again allow ourselves to be subjugated." The Assembly voted unanimously to ratify the Earth Accords, guaranteeing the rights of all sentient species to develop their own technologies and explore the stars without interference. As Logan left the chamber, Commander Hawkins fell into step beside him. "Do you think it will last, sir? This peace?" Logan watched as representatives from formerly oppressed worlds conversed freely with their once oppressors. "As long as we remember the price paid to achieve it," he said quietly. "Both the innocent blood spilled and the justice that followed." He looked out at the stars visible through the station's viewport. No longer barriers or boundaries, but pathways to humanity's future. "The galaxy has changed forever," Logan said, "and we'll be ready for whatever comes next." Across the void, the Guardians resumed their silent vigil around Earth, while the Sigma fleet patrolled the new frontiers of human space. Humanity had revealed its strength, and the galaxy would never again make the mistake of underestimating the determination of this young, resilient species. The execution of a child had awakened a sleeping giant, and now the stars themselves belonged to humanity.